Okay, we're going to try something new. We're going to try this video blogging. For those of you that don't know my backstory, my name is Susan, and about 5 years ago, I began a journey into the world of fitness. My son was getting ready to deploy to Afghanistan, and he said, "Hey Mom, Miss Couch Potato Extraordinaire, why don't you go to this local CrossFit gym and do some exercise and get involved in this while I'm gone, so you've got something to do, and then you can be different by the time I get back." Well, so who could say no to that, right? So while he was gone, I went ahead and took him up on the challenge, and of course that changed my life completely. I did a 365-degree turn in a completely opposite direction. I started loving exercise and getting fit and becoming an athlete. And I had a few years in the CrossFit world doing competitions and learning how to stand on my head. Why I would want to do that, I'm not sure, but I did it and it was fun, right? And it got me to a much healthier way of life and great improvements in my overall health. However, a couple years into that, I took a big nosedive. Like, I'm talking nosedive. And what I think happened was a combination of things that all kind of came together at one time. So I was, of course, starting to adjust my diet over those last couple years when I started off and started eating clean, tried the paleo, tried the zone, tried, the whole 30, becoming aware of what's good for you and bad for you. And of course, what happens when you start doing that, when you have a really unhealthy body, is you start eating clean, you start feeling better, your gut starts getting better, things start improving, and then you think that you could eat the way you did before, and you eat that crap you're not supposed to, and your body revolts against you. Really revolts against you. Let me just tell you, revolts. Bad. So, anyway, along with that also came, I believe, early menopause, although at the time I didn't really know it. And, of course, being a middle-aged woman, that kind of makes sense at this point. But I had a lot of issues, brain fog and fatigue. I gained a bunch of weight, but I was eating clean and exercising 5 days a week and gaining weight. Having hot flashes, not being able to sleep. It was horrible. It was the most horrible thing I ever don't wish on anyone. But I also understand it's part of life. So about the time I started realizing that might be the issue and started finding some replacements and help, because I was a little too young to start doing that, I blew out my neck. I had a very severe herniation in my C6, which is right here in the neck, and it affected my entire left arm. I couldn't stand, I couldn't sit, I couldn't walk, I couldn't do anything. My arm went into atrophy. I think that's how you pronounce it. Anyway, tricep went dead. Just very serious issues. I mean, like really serious, bad things. And I kind of went the route of non-traditional treatment. I didn't want to go have surgery on my neck because, like, right here, you could become paralyzed. And a lot of people were like, "Oh no, just live with your dead arm," and all kinds of other crazy stuff. So that happened. At the same time, menopause was happening. At the same time, my food and diet and gut health were trying to balance and get adjusted. So this neck injury really brought it all to a boiling point for me, and I couldn't do anything. I couldn't go to the gym. I couldn't walk on a treadmill. I couldn't walk up my stairs. I couldn't go to work. So that really kind of puts life into perspective. Not as severe as I think some people have had stuff happen to them. So on the scale of 1 to 10, I probably still was about a 5 or 6, but when doctors look at my MRI of my neck, they're like, "Wow, that's a really bad herniation." So they're very impressed though with my recovery so far, and that's going to be 2 years. No, that is 2 years this September, right? So it's September 18th, and on September 26th of this year, it's going to be 2 years since that injury, and I am just now back to pre-injury lift amounts. I'll talk about that in a minute. But anyway, so with not being able to walk without excruciating pain and not wanting to take those horrible painkillers and not wanting to have surgery, I seeked out a lot of holistic healing. And with holistic healing comes, therapy, acupuncture, acupressure, chiropractic, massage therapy, essential oils, you know, identifying inflammation in your body and trying to reduce that, and just a whole new world of health and wellness that I didn't even know existed prior to. And I was able to heal my neck. I still have some issues. I still have a finger that is numb or asleep. You know how when something falls asleep and it gets all tingly? I still have that in my finger, and I still have left side weakness. But it's coming back, and it's coming back better, I think, than before. And that's going to be in a different video about training and rehab and injury and what to do and what not to do. But for today, that's my backstory. So fast forward it to right now, and what I'm dealing with is inflammation. So I've straightened out the hormones, and I've straightened out the neck, and got the eating kind of in place, but not fully. What ended up happening with my eating is I started guessing, right? So I think that you're not supposed to eat certain grains, and you're not supposed to eat, obviously I don't eat fast food and all that other crap anymore. Birthday cakes, although I really love birthday cakes, you're not supposed to eat them, right? So with this whole eating thing, where I'm going with this is I got to a point where I realized that my eating was not about a lifestyle change. I knew what to eat. I knew how to eat. I had all of the food in my house. I knew how to cook all these great, healthy, wonderful meals, but yet I still seeked out those birthday cakes or those cupcakes or cookies or bread or pasta. And realizing, you know, I'm not supposed to eat this stuff, but why do I keep eating it? Why do I keep going back? And then, of course, having compounded problems that I am now identifying are directly related to the food that I'm eating. Not having to do with, you know, lifestyle, hereditary, exercise, right? It all comes down to what are you putting in your mouth every single day. And lifestyle change is one thing, but being addicted to something is completely different. And I started really researching and understanding the addiction to sugar. And I can go into lots and lots of information about it, but what I'm going to tell you is I'm addicted to sugar. I am a sugar addict. I'm not ashamed to say it. And I'm going to start treating this whole point of my life and where I need to go with my health and wellness. I'm going to treat it as an addiction, because that's what it is. If you look at research and scientific data that's going to support the fact that sugar in your system has the same chemical reaction as crack cocaine, right? So take a brain that is on crack cocaine and take a brain that's on sugar, and you get very similar results, right? So all of the chemistry that goes on in your body says, ooh, give me sugar, right? And I'm not even going to go into the whole conspiracy theories in the food industry and how sugar is in everything and it's just killing America. I'm not even going to go into that today. But let me just tell you, I am addicted to sugar, and I have to approach it with that attitude. So what does that mean? That means I waited 2 years almost to get into the functional medicine department at Cleveland Clinic. Now, the way that they look at things, they look at health and wellness and your illnesses or disorders or whatever you want, whatever's going on with you health-wise. They look at it as a whole, not just as a, oh, you have diabetes, so here, let's treat it with this medicine. Let's look at the fact that you have diabetes, but why do you have diabetes? You know, what was your childhood like? What kind of formula did you go on? Did you have any kind of trauma as a child? You know, where do you live? Do you have black mold that's in your home, or you work someplace that's unhealthy, or what kind of toxins do you have? I mean, there's just all kinds of stuff that goes into understanding it, and you really drill into the chemistry of your body. And oh, there's all kinds of fancy words I'm learning that I won't even go into, but the bottom line is, functional medicine department, they're going to help me. And they're helping me through the first phase, which is going to be an elimination diet. And this is where the video blogging comes in, right? Because chronic inflammation goes hand in hand with the food that you eat. We don't have chronic inflammation just because our mothers had chronic inflammation or our grandmothers had chronic inflammation. If you go way back, right? People like the cavemen, people in the 1800s, they probably didn't have too much inflammation, right? They weren't dying of these obesity type diseases such as, you know, heart disease and diabetes. You know, it was just different. So relate it to the food that we're eating versus chronic inflammation. How do you get rid of chronic inflammation? You stop eating the foods that you're eating, primarily sugar, right? But I'm addicted to sugar. So how do I just stop eating sugar? Not that easy. I've been trying for the last couple of years, 2 to be exact, and it's not working. I still seek it out. So, functional medicine department, chronic inflammation, sugar addiction, plan. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to go into what's called an elimination diet. Elimination diet. Oh my God, do you eliminate everything that you eat? Yes, you do. You eliminate everything that you can eat. Except what I already know you can eat, which is good, real, whole food, right? Organic if possible, to reduce on toxins, game type meat, fish, right? All the stuff I already know, but it really strips out all of the things that are known inflammatory foods. So dairy, grain that has gluten in it. So that takes out all your pastas and your breads and cupcakes and cakes, right? Sugar, eliminated. Boom. Nothing. No sugar. No honey. No agave. No natural anything, because sugar is sugar is sugar. All right? No dairy. Just different things like that. It basically mimics what I would consider the Whole30, or I would consider a Mediterranean diet or a vegan diet. And it's not supposed to be a lifestyle change. It's a diet. It's a true, like, you're going to start it today and you're going to stop it in 4 weeks from now. And then you're going to have this reintroduction phases where once I get through the elimination phase, then I reintroduce eggs for 2 days and I see what happens to my body. And then if nothing happens, then I reintroduce dairy and see what my body does. And I record all that. It's this whole long drawn out process. But the biggest challenge is, oh my God, I can't eat sugar. Really? Help! And there is none. There is no help. You're an alcoholic. Where do you go? AA. You got groups all over the place. I'm addicted to heroin. Where do you go? Treatment centers. They got stuff that you can take to offset your addiction. All kinds of help. Criminy. The police carry it. I'm addicted to heroin. They can help me. I'm addicted to sugar. Just stop eating sugar, they say. Really? Who could do that? So, you can't, because it's a chemical reaction the same as crack cocaine. You can't just tell somebody who does crack cocaine to just stop doing crack cocaine, right? So, you can't tell somebody who's addicted to sugar to just stop eating sugar. So, here I am, doing a video blog to try and cope with the fact that I can't eat sugar. Trying to find a way to hold myself accountable while tracking and journaling and making a story or record of my journey. Because in the end, if I can help someone else, if I actually succeed in this whole process and can reduce my inflammation and reduce all the problems and the issues that I have because of it, and reach that near optimal health that I am so desperately after, and not wanting to die like my mom did at 76, I won't even go there, then I have to do something like this. I have to hold myself accountable. I have to implement a system that I can record this, and then maybe if I succeed, because I'm pretty determined to succeed, then it might help somebody in the future. And who knows? Maybe I'll start that organization of Sugar Addicts Anonymous, right? And I'll be the next world-known Sugar Addicts Anonymous, I don't know, founder. And I'll be able to help millions of people in the world overcome their addiction to sugar by following these easy steps that are going to be helpful. So, there it is. That's why I've got this video blog. Just to chronically record information. Today is September 18th, 2017. Just to back it up a little bit on where I've been with my body weight and fat and lean body mass. In 2015, April of 2015, at 47 years old, I was at 168.9 pounds. I had 57 pounds of fat, and I had 111.1 pounds of lean body mass. So that's all the organs and other important things. That's the piece that you really want to have higher, and you want that body fat to be lower, right? So I had a little dip with my menopause and injuries, and when I was 48 in 2016, April of 2016, I went up to 176.6 pounds. My body fat went up to 64.6 pounds of body fat, and then my lean body mass was at 112. So 112.0, right? Call it that. Now, fast forward to 2017, I just went in for some blood work to test my hormone levels and get things in check there. And August of 2017, my body weight was at 171.7. So I came down a little in my weight. The body fat went from 64.6 to 58 pounds of body fat. So I'm going to take that win. And then, of course, my lean body mass index stayed about the same at 112. So that's good, because that means I didn't lose any muscle mass, so to speak. So that's where I'm at today, give or take. I might be down slightly in weight just because I kind of jump-started from this video blog. I started kind of tapering back on things that I was eating and so forth. But today marks the official day, kind of. Right? So here we go. Things that I'm trying to accomplish, and I'm going to kind of journal along the way with this of what my symptoms are, right? So chronic issues with my inflammation that I have. I have this horrible skin thing, right? I call it my flesh-eating disease. Everybody gets grossed out by that. And you can't really tell because I covered it up with makeup, but I've got these big blemishes on my forehead that I've been fighting with. I've got one in my leg, and I've got one in my scalp over here. Anyway, really not fun skin stuff that flares up, and I recently had a flare up. It's just now starting to taper off, but it's still what I would consider flared up. So there's one issue I'm trying to combat. Of course, my gut health, won't even go into the details with that, but just trust me, your gut is your second brain. It's connected to this brain, believe it or not, and they work in conjunction. So when one is not right, then the other one gets affected, and that's where depression, brain fog, fatigue, all kinds of other stuff will come into play. So the gut health is a little off, and that's one of the things that they're going to be measuring with my Cleveland Clinic Functional Medicine Department. I have this wonderful little gut biome test that I have to get to play around with my poop and send it in for testing. So I got that going on. I have this mysterious red eye. So if you don't know me, and you've never seen my bleeding red eye, it's an internal inflammation. It's not pink eye. It's not all the other 5,000 other things. I don't know exactly what it's called. Somewhere I have an official paper on it, but I'll record that later. But the red eye, need to get rid of that from happening. Insomnia, I get a lot of insomnia problems where I just can't sleep. I can't shut my brain off. Nothing helps me to sleep. I also have sleep apnea, so I'm going to be going in for testing for that as well to kind of see where I'm at with that and see what they can do to help correct my sleep apnea. I have horrible allergies. Used to relate it to seasonal, right? Everybody's got seasonal allergies. Well, more research I find is what I eat affects your sinuses. Mental fog, depression, fatigue, all those things as well. So we're going to see if we can combat some of this stuff, kind of gauge where I'm at right now. Fatigue is not too bad. Depression, I just am coming out of a really bad bout of it. Mental fog, depends on the day. Allergies are pretty bad in my book, but they've been worse. They've also been better. And of course, I don't have red eye right now, so that's good. But my gut health is bad right now, and my skin is flared up right now, so we're going to go with those. So, thanks for listening. I hope I didn't bore you too much. Probably. But we're going to get going. I had a pretty good day of eating. I'm eating my smoothie protein for dinner. I had a great lunch with sweet potatoes, some grilled chicken, and some sauteed kale. That was delicious. I avoided, yes, win for me, I avoided the big layout of chocolate Boston cream pie cupcakes and macaroni and cheese homemade that somebody brought in for lunch for their group today, and I avoided it all. So big win for me. Day one, I overcame all that sugar and didn't really even want it. So I'm wondering if the acupuncture that I'm doing the last 4 weeks in the ear, a bunch of pins for addiction, might actually be working. So I'll tell you more about that on another blog. Thanks for listening. Good luck to me. And we shall see you maybe tomorrow night. I might do this once a week. We'll see how it goes. Thanks for listening. Bye.